This is my audience. Hello, my name is Ryan Harrison, and today I'll be giving a tribute speech about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. King was a Baptist minister, but is nationally recognized as one of the most visible spokesperson and leaders in the civil rights movement. King used nonviolent protest to fight for equality of all African Americans. His social engagement included events such as the Montgomery bus boycott, the Selma to Montgomery March, and the March on Washington, where he delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. King went on to be recognized with the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 for his heroic efforts to change history as we know it. Let's dive deeper into King's background and historical achievements. King was born January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. Growing up, he had it rough, given that it was a time of tremendous racial segregation that caused great pain to his family. In addition to this, King's father regularly beat him into his teenage years to try and mold him into a somewhat greater person. In high school, King realized that he had a knack for speaking and took up debate. After high school, King took his talent and continued education by obtaining 2 bachelor's degrees, one from Morehouse College, the other from Crozier King Seminary School. King then pursued his PhD degree at Boston University in 1955. In December of 1955, King helped lead the Montgomery bus boycott, which started with Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin. They refused to give up their seat to a Caucasian passenger. The boycott lasted 385 days and resulted in the case Browder versus Gale, brought forth to the United States District Court. The court ruled in favor of ending racial segregation on all Montgomery public buses. King's role in the bus boycott transformed him into a national speaker and the most recognized spokesman of the civil rights movement. In 1957, King and other civil rights activists founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC. The group was created to bind the moral authority and organizing power of black churches to conduct nonviolent protests in service of civil rights reform. King went on to lead many more equal rights, peaceful protests and speeches such as the Albany Movement in 1961, Birmingham Campaign in 1963, St. Augustine Movement in 1964, and the Selma to Montgomery marches in 1964. However, the most notable speech ever given was the March on Washington speech in 1963. "I Have a Dream" came to be observed as one of the greatest speeches in the history of American oratory. The march, and especially King's speech, helped place civil rights at the top of the agenda of reformers in the United States and paved the way for the Civil Rights Act of 1964. In conclusion, King and a few other leaders are the reason equal rights were passed for all people of color and that segregation is still not in place. King's unspoken truth, peaceful protests, marches, they got other African American leaders involved to make a strong alliance and stand up to demand equal rights. Because of King's leadership, he helped pave a clear path for the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Thank you.